Hello. In this video we're going to cover the basics of the PPI Template Script. The script is used to extract regions of interest time series from existing first-level models and generate the necessary seed, psychological, and interaction regressors for a PPI analysis. So we're going to go ahead and open up the script that we copied from our methods core repository. If you've used other methods core scripts, many of these variables are going to look familiar to you. exp sets the main experiment directory and can then be used in substitutions in later paths. Just like the other scripts, all the variables that end with template can use the same template format as path variables from the first level script, so you can use bracketed expressions like this bracket exp in the other variables, and it will be replaced by the value of your exp variable. Log template is a path where informational logs will be written out during the running of the script. It will also contain a time-stamped copy of each template script that you run, so you can always refer back to previous settings. Subject-dir is a list of subjects and runs to generate regressors for. The format of this is the same as in other methods core MATLAB scripts. So you have the subject folder, the subject number, and the runs to include. Rundir is a list of folders, run folders for this task. Image template is a path where subjects preprocessed functional images reside. This is also where the output PPI regressors will be written. Condition name is a list of conditions from this task. So these condition names have to match exactly the names used in your original first level model because it tries to do some matching between them. So it's just recommended that you just copy and paste this condition name variable from your first level template. Model template is the path where your existing first level model resides for a subject. This is the model that we'll use to extract region of interest time series for the PPI. This next set of variables sets how you define the voxels you want to include in your ROI. The script is only going to average over voxels that are significant based on the contrast and threshold set here. If you wish to average over all voxels in your ROI regardless of significance, set the contrast number to 1 and set the contrast threshold to 1, and that will extract all voxels. If you only wish to extract for voxels that are activated by a specific contrast, then set that contrast number here and then set your threshold here using these variables. For threshold, p-value, minimum cluster size, and then correction can be either none or FWE correction. PPI type is the method of PPI analysis to use. You can set this either to standard or to GPPI. Standard is the original type of PPI analysis provided in SPM where you create a contrast of 2 or more conditions of interest. GPPI is the generalized method as discussed in the previous video where you have separate regressors for each condition and its interaction with the seed. And then we have ROIs. This is a list of regions of interest to extract for. Each ROI will result in separate output files with regressors to conduct a PPI analysis with that ROI as a seed. The first field is a descriptive name for the ROI. This is going to be used in the output file name. The second field is either a path to a mask image for your ROI or a coordinate for the center of a sphere. The next field is the radius of the spherical ROI in millimeters. Just leave it blank if you're using a image ROI. And then finally, we have the weight vector. This operates a little bit differently depending on whether you're doing a standard or generalized PPI. In both cases, it should have as many values as you have conditions. In a standard PPI, you're going to use zeros, ones, and negative ones to indicate the contrast of conditions that you're interested in. For a generalized PPI, it should only contain zeros and ones and just indicates which conditions you want to generate interaction regressors for if you don't want to include everything. And then we get to the advanced options. There's really just one main advanced option here. This is EOI adjust. When you're extracting a VOI in SPM, it gives you the option of adjusting your data for an F contrast. What this means is that columns that have a value of 0 in that F contrast are considered effects of no interest, and their contribution to the signal is going to be removed from the extracted time series. If you don't have any F contrast in your first level model, or if you don't want to adjust the data, this should be set to 0. If you don't adjust the data at this step, then you should make sure to include whatever other regressors you have in your PPI model when you run your PPI model next. So that finishes the summary of options for the PPI script. When I run this script, it's just going to loop over my subjects and ROIs and do some VOI extraction, and then it creates the regressors. So I can now go to my subject folder, and in subject 2 I should now see that I have VMPFC CSV file and an amygdala CSV file that were written out by these. I also have the same thing in run 2. If I open these up, I can see that in this case they're just 3-column files. The first column is going to be my seed ROI, the second column is my psychological regressor, and the third column is my PPI interaction. That wraps up this video. In the next video, we'll talk about how to take these CSV files and use them to build your new first level PPI models.